Hi everyone, Nubkeks here, and welcome back to some Heroes of the Storm gameplay. Again, I am away for this weekend. I think I'll be releasing this particular video on the last day of the weekend, so if you are leaving comments and going, hey Nubkeks, you haven't replied to my comments in the last couple of days, you're normally so quick, that is why. I will be back on Monday, however, and hopefully maybe record a video on Monday, get it up on Monday, not sure, but hopefully all the Gamescom news and such and tournaments and everything have been keeping you guys company in the meantime. Anyway, I'm bringing you some Zagara gameplay here today. I realized when I was looking back over the stuff on my channel that I didn't really have a good Zagara game since her rework. I did have one, but it was one where I was like, I put it up just for the sake of showing that sometimes people have bad games. It's like we just got absolutely stomped and I had a horrible game, so it's like I wanted to show you guys that just for the sake of it. I realized I didn't actually have one where actually was pretty effective and actually got to split push kind of well, so I'll be doing that in this game instead. This is going to be an interesting start to the game. Watch the Uther. Okay, so this is something I noticed in the last game as well. I'm coming down here to lay this down. The enemy team really on point, they really collapse well. But as you can see on the minimap, Uther, it's the same two guys as we had in my my Thrall video, which probably I put up yesterday if you're watching this the day it came out. I noticed in that game, and I saw these guys again, and I was like, alright, sweet. I know that the Sylar guy, he's like, they're both pretty decent players, both maybe perhaps somewhat newer to the game, the Uther anyway. I was like, okay, cool. I know he's a YOLO split push Uther, and that's exactly what he's doing in this game as well. So that definitely contributed in a large way to my death. I was not expecting that Uther was just going to leg it and go solo lane. So I did get picked off, but also well played by the enemy team. They had really nice aggression from them. I think they were a 5-man team comp. This is unranked draft. Yeah, like they really wrecked us right there. Really nice play, very coordinated from them, and good gank. Nice to see. Uther does die in the top lane, poor guy. Here we go though. I am Zagara. Going to be going up against a duo down here. This is going to be fairly difficult, but she does a lot of siege damage, so I'm going to be able to hold the Zul and the Karasim off, I think, for the most part, and we should be fairly okay. At level 1, I did pick up Infest. It's a pretty nice level 1 talent. It has been nerfed. So this is Zagara in her current form. She's received several nerfs since her rework. So this is, in a sense as well, also an up-to-date look at her. Infest is still pretty nice. It increases minion damage by, or ranged minion damage by 100%. You can see them getting all red and bigger and scarier while I'm near them, and it scales up the more siege damage you do too. Pretty nice. I also like I actually like all of her level 1 talents. They're all pretty damn good. She's got a lot of variety in her talent builds actually, which is nice. One thing you can see here, okay, let's take a look at this. I'm deciding to split push. That is, I'm not going with my team. I'm not helping them out in this first shrine. I'm going to split push instead. I'm basically deciding for my team that we're not getting this first Punisher. I'm basically deciding to give up this first Punisher so that I can split push instead. Is this a good decision? Well, let's just take a look and see how much damage I'm going to get done against this bottom lane while my teammates are delaying, and they're actually doing a pretty good job at the moment. Like, they've really delayed the enemy team much more than I expected them to, so well played by them. That's really nice to see. Very nice to see, in fact. They've held them off for this long, and as you can see by the XP as well, we are, while this is going on, generating a fairly sizable XP lead too, which is pretty nice. We're actually going to be half a level up after this. That's pretty good. Now, obviously the enemy team will recoup some of that. At this point I was like, oh shit, I overstayed. They're coming for me. Oh shit! Oh no! ETC, I think, was just running away a bit too much. They really should have killed me there, but they kind of messed it up. I'm going to be a nightmare for this Jaina during this game. I was chuckling so much there. I was watching the whole time while I was pushing. I was like, okay, I'll back off on time. I left it just that little bit too long though, and really paid the price for it there. Well, I should have paid the price, I should say. I really should have died. Luckily I didn't. It was a close thing. It was a close thing. One of the problems in this game was that the Cho'Gall was actually really nice, and the Uther is really nice. They combo well together. But one of the things was that our teammate went for Nova. And you know me, I like Nova a lot as a hero. I think she's definitely underrated. She gets a lot of hate that she doesn't deserve. She's pretty decent. Don't think she fit very well in this team comp though. It's like, if the enemy team, like, it's just very difficult. Because I want to be split pushing, it's like, imagine it was Li Ming instead, something like that, yeah? So Cho'Gall, Li Ming, and Uther, much scarier, like 3-man team for the enemy team to deal with. With the Nova, she's very vulnerable to just being killed while like Cho'Gall or whatever is CC'd. So it definitely leaves us a bit weaker for the playstyle I want to go for, which is like a split pushing type Zagara build. But I mean, as you can see, if you look at the minimap and the damage that has been done to the structures, my Zagara split push at level 1 actually got way more value in terms of structural damage than the enemy team did with that first Punisher. So that's why she's so strong. Probably the first 2 Punishers, I would say, you can just surrender completely. You can just go, okay, rest of my teammates, normally 4 teammates. In this case, we got 3 heroes because you got Cho'Gall. Normally, it's like you say, all right, you guys, just delay, just stall it out, just make, just bide some time while I go split push, and we'll actually get more damage done and get more XP overall from that. Now, it turns out that we start to lose a bit of XP as we've, it kind of took a bit of a bad turn there. So we are a little bit down on the XP, but that's all right, not too far down. And we should still be in this game. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Here we go. I see that Jaina is actually using Blizzard to clear out my my creep tumors, which is certainly annoying for me, but I think it works out to our benefit in the end, because that's a lot of mana for her to lose. It's a lot of wave clear that's being wasted on those things. And sure, I'll be down my creep, but she's going to be down a lot of mana, and it's going to really neutralize a lot of her power right here. So again, it's going to be the Punisher once again. Our teammates actually get 2 kills. Really nice. Well played, team. The enemy team had invested a lot of resources to come in dealing with me. It was something I also noticed with that first Punisher, is that they sent several heroes to come deal with me and my split push. They almost come, like, they should have killed me, and it would have kind of worked out. Made their Punisher push less effective than it could have been, though, if they just all gone as a big team and pushed in there. Because I was going to back off anyway. But oh well. So you can see here, this siege camp, or not siege camp, this merc camp, the shaman, the fallen shaman, very powerful one. You basically have to deal with it. If you just leave it on its own, it will probably destroy your entire fort. This guy is an absolute machine. So this is actually working out way in our favor, that I was kind of hoping to split push anyway. And in fact, I've got no mana. I don't have my well for ages, so I'm really kind of useless at the moment. I'm just relying on my level 4 talent Medusa Blades for the most part, and whatever mana I can scrounge up, just naturally regenning it to deal with this Jaina push. So it's fine. It's like, if Jaina had Heartstoned and gone up, and this is hilarious, I think she actually dies. My little, my roach picks off that final kill, so that was kind of funny. But this push has actually worked out way in our benefit here. I was kind of, as you can see, I'm trying to quick cast my heroic and it doesn't work. It's just one of those weird placement things. It won't place it, which is kind of annoying me and actually distracted me. It was definitely a problem. Our teammates, we did actually pick up the Punisher too, so that was pretty slick. The Zagara split push really working in our favor. Unfortunately, Cho'Gall did die. That kind of sucked. I think I die up here as well. Again, I was just kind of a bit put off trying to figure out that whole Nidus network thing, and then I don't have the mana to actually cast a network. So yeah, as you can see, overstayed my welcome here. Gonna juke the Jaina. So we do juke the Jaina. If it had just been Jaina, I would have lived, with Zulda's arrive, and they're gonna kill me. We do get 1 stack of my level 7 quest off at Jaina though at the end. It's like, haha, awesome. And our teammates, while that was happening, actually get a nice push down the bottom lane. They finish off the fort and they get some damage on that front wall. So all in all, it's not terrible. It's not terrible. And again, this early in the game, my death timer is relatively short. What was it, about 20-25 seconds, something like that. So all things considered, because I got Nidus network and I can just get straight back to the lane, it doesn't actually matter a whole bunch that I died. Sure, it's some XP to the enemy team and I'm off the map for a little bit, but not all that much more than it would have been if I'd Hearthstone and just regened all my life, then got back in the Nidus network. Wasn't a huge loss, let's put it that way. So we'll take it, it'll be okay. Just doing some what damage I can to this Jaina. At this point, look at Uther again. Look at this! Dude, what? Come on, man! Come on, dude! He's like, yeah, fuck it, I'm not helping. I'm just gonna Hearthstone. I was like, dude, come on, split push Uther, please. Please, just heal me. Please, I know you have it in you. I know you can. So, again, I went pretty aggressive there, but I think it was a pretty reasonable expectation that Uther would be having my back. And, so I did die. It wasn't really my fault. Right there again as well. If Cho'Gall had just walked back into the middle of the ring, he would have survived. In the end, he does die. Luckily, they used Mosh Pit to secure the kill. I think he would have died anyway. And that's fine. That's Mosh Pit down, probably for the next shrine. So it does suck to lose Cho'Gall, but it could have been worse. You can see I was also considering just using Nidus Network to get back up there. But I decided in the end, if I did, I would probably just die. So let's go do something else. Just give up that fort. With Cho'Gall and myself dying, it's like that fort is just gone. So just give it up and just get some value elsewhere on the map. Just try and make something happen so it's not a complete waste. So So Zagara, very strong at taking out Mercamps. She really wrecks them. Especially with Nidus Network, you get a lot of cooldown reduction from those basic attacks. And then you can just regen your mana and your health that you do happen to lose by hopping into a network. And it's not too big of a deal. Nice play by the enemy team actually stealing our Bruiser camp. That's pretty good. I'm going to try to steal their Siege camp. Maybe a little bit risky, but I think it's probably worth the risk overall as our team kind of tango over the other side. Alright, Cho'Gall getting some damage down. Not too bad. Again, our team is kind of lacking wave clear because we have the Nova. I think we would have been better off with a different pick, but it could be worse. I'm going to go with a relatively standard Zagara build. I'm just going to put pressure, split push pressure. I potentially could have gone for that bottom siege camp. That would have kind of worked. But our team is actually doing really nicely there. Awesome. 2 kills. Sweet. I'm going to get a push on. Fortunately, Uther does fall. I think Cho'Gall, yeah, Cho'Gall does fall as well. So we actually come out of it worse then. So that's 3 for 2. The enemy is going to get that the Punisher as well, which is kind of unfortunate. We do take down that front wall. But with 3 of them dying, it's kind of a bad position where I'm not actually able to stay and do anything. So Uther is kind of raging at me here. Again, I really do feel like, I think I said this in the last video, is that he's like a decent player, but a very new player. I thought was fairly clear from his gameplay in both games. It's like split push Uther. He's obviously realized the value of soaking lanes, and he's obviously, as a new player, been playing with newer players. He probably plays with a lot of teammates that won't deal with it. So for example, at the start of the game, instead of like in a good level game, you would, as Uther, you'd obviously stay with your team and just rely on your teammates to go with to go and soak the lanes. Obviously not something you should be doing as Uther. This guy has been playing with teammates who don't do that, so he's just going, okay, it's more valuable for me to just split push, and that's what he's been trying to do. And then kind of raging as well at me for split pushing. I think it's fine. I think maybe it's a little bit awkward again, as I said, with the Nova, but what can you do? This was also kind of awkward. Our teammates really engaged very hard when there was a Punisher like spawning, which is kind of scary. I'm just going to throw some damage down on these guys just to scare them off. They are obviously looking to come in and do damage to us. Cho'Gall's gone really deep too. Yeah, Cho'Gall's going to die. Our teammates definitely being too aggressive with the Punisher active. I think as the Punisher was spawning, it was like, alright, maybe try to get a pick on an enemy hero, but for the most part just back it off. You can see here, for example, they're coming in strength, so I'm able to back off, which is okay. I think Uther will probably die, not sure. I'm going to lay down some creep, so I have some creep to back up to. Don't want to push it too far forwards because it will die very easily. And I do want to keep as much creep as I can active so that I can get my cooldown reductions and such. I'm going to pop into this Nidus Worm just to get a bit of mana back so I can actually use my abilities. Okay, regen got a lot. There we go. Nice. The Punisher falls. Didn't get too much damage done. And again, once again, like, it got the fort down, which is pretty nice. But aside from that, it didn't get too much done. Definitely not as much as it could have, potentially. So we'll take it. Nice stun the Cho'Gall, prevents him from using Molten Block, and he takes a ton of damage. Kind of moving forward aggressively here. We do finally pick up the kill on that guy, so that's pretty slick. Nova gets picked off. Again, really nice coordination by the enemy team. Nova's kind of saying, help. There's really nothing that myself or Cho'Gall could do. We are totally zoned out by the Zool as well. So, yeah, I kind of felt that her rage was not quite warranted. But as you can see, definitely teammates not amazing in this particular game, and we're definitely suffering because of it. It's making it difficult. But all the same, we have got a nice bit of split push off overall with Zagara. It does become tough though, as you can see. As you can see here, they're kind of raging at each other and just ignoring it. It does become challenging to split push with Zagara when you have lost map pressure like this. Once you start to lose, she's like an anti-snowball hero, this particular build, like this sort of split pushing build. If you start to lose, if you start to go behind like this, it becomes really difficult to actually maintain any creep or any of your Nidus network out on the map. It becomes really hard, and you really start to have a tough time. Luckily, this map is probably a bit forgiving for it, but it is quite tough all the same. You can see I'm just trying to start establishing a bit of a presence up on this top lane because I felt like the enemy wasn't anywhere near here, and that's fine. Kind of popping into the Nidus Worm, not really much point to it. I'm going to start moving now towards the bottom. I've established a network up top, so I want to try spreading myself down across this bottom lane, at least de-push this lane a little bit. Completely missing my E there, don't know what I was thinking. Putting it squarely between everything. It's one of those things like with skill shots as well that happens like with heroes. Like throw a storm bolt perfectly between like the Jaina and the Zool and be like, oh no, what am I doing? Trying to dodge the Zool thing. I'm gonna come in, get the W down on Jaina. I do get hit by the Ring of Frost, which is normally a huge mistake. It's normally never worth it, but I figured in this case it would be okay to do so. This is actually working out fairly decently for us. We actually pick up the kill. Nice play by Nova there, actually. Battle Uther, split push Uther, picking up the kill. Well played by Uther. And this ETC is going in deep. I kind of figured my teammates would probably have this kind of secured, so I'm going to push down this lane, secure a bit of like creep and lane pressure. There we go, getting that creep down. Okay, cool. I mean, all the other team members are dead. Maybe he will survive the ETC. No, they will pick him up. I thought that he would die in the end, and he does. That's good. I'm going to start working on this shrine. There we go, just blasting through these things very quickly with the Zagara. Very nice indeed. And we got a bit of a split push happening too. Now, I would like to push down this lane, but more than likely, potentially as well, I could swing up top, but it looks like, yeah, so top goes down regardless because of the pressure built up there with that siege camp. So that fort does fall on its own. I would really like at this point to push down like top keep or bottom keep. I'd like to, but it's not really an option. The enemy team basically has to give up this Punisher, so they're not going to come to the shrine. More than likely they're going to clear out that top or that bottom lane. So wasn't able to push those in. Just stay here with my teammates and clear up that shrine, and that's fine. Gonna lay down some creep here just to scout out any potential flanks that might be coming in. Gonna lay down a Nidus worm there as well, just so I got a bit of a retreat. And as you can see, looking at the minimap, we've got a pretty solid map presence with that now. Gonna lay down that creep tumor and just start my assault here. We're doing a lot of damage with those infest minions and with my mutalisks at level 16, which makes them last, I think, for a minute. Makes your W last a really long time and do like a bounce attack. Pretty powerful. Really nice divine shield coming out from Uther on himself, keeps himself alive, and a nice heroic from the Cho'Gall as well, and we pick up 2 kills, so that's pretty sweet. We're on to the core, and with what we've got here, that's probably game. I do pick up the endless creep here, bit of extra movement speed. Level 13, by the way, picked up protective coating, probably the best one overall in that tier. Gives you resistance, I think it's 20% reduced damage while you're on your creep, which is pretty nice. I think Nova saying easy, I don't think it was an easy game. It was pretty close, all things considered. But I think it was a pretty good look into the split push Zagara, and especially some of the decision making, the thought process there, beside going along with like not going to the first 2 shrines, getting more value just split pushing than with pushing with the shrines. As you can see, our siege damage is huge. We'll go back to the stats in a bit. Infest, Medusa Blades, Bile Drop, Nidus Network, Protective Coating, Mutalisk, and Endless Creep. This is like my go-to Zagara build. I do really like it quite a lot. It's the one I go to the most often. As you can see, we got a lot of XP for our team, and we did a lot of siege damage. And even though we didn't necessarily participate very much in the team fights, we still churned out a really nice chunk of hero damage as well. And that's the strength of Zagara. Yeah, it worked pretty well with like the Cho'Gall Uther. Not so well with the Nova. It made it difficult, I think, for our teammates to deal with me split pushing, but we pulled it off in the end. Yeah, to mention the talents, you got quite a lot of choice. This is my favorite way to go overall. I would consider maybe switching up for like the Q damage and range at level 1, and then extra Q stacks at level 2, or maybe the Q slows or Baneling slow. I do like those because they have nerfed that level 7 questing talent. Makes your E do more damage, makes it bigger, and then has a quest that also increases its damage, and then if you complete the quest, increases its radius. Very difficult though to complete the quest. They've nerfed it quite substantially, so I might move away from that in the future towards one of the Q talents at level 7, which are both quite nice as well. I do like Medusa Blades at level 4 the most. It makes your basic attack splash. It adds a lot of wave clear, just natural wave clear, which is awesome, and just damage during team fights as well. I feel like it just adds up to more damage and more usefulness than either of her other 2 talents in most cases. It's always good, whereas the other 2 are kind of niche, so I do tend towards just using Medusa Blades, and I like it a lot. Nidus Network is obviously great for split push, but there is a place maybe more useful overall. I don't know, it depends on the map and the team comps. I do personally enjoy the Network playstyle more, so that's how I pick Zagara. Protective Coating at level 13, pretty damn good. You could opt for one of the other options though if you need to, but Protective Coating is probably the one you'll go for most often. Level 16 then, Mutalisk for split push, very nice. Makes your Hydralisk thing a Mutalisk, which lasts for ages. It flies over terrain, it has a bounce attack. I think it lasts for, again, 60 seconds or something, so it just keeps pushing down the lane, which is pretty awesome. And then level 20, Endless Creep, which makes your creep last longer. You can place it further. Gives you a bit of flexibility, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Again, as you saw, like our teammates were kind of raging at us here, so it's difficult. It's really going to depend on whether your teammates know that like, okay, not going, for example, to that first shrine is nearly always going to be a win for the team with Zagara, right? It's one of those difficult things, one of those difficult trade-offs that people will generally be aware of in like higher leagues, but maybe in the lower leagues they'll kind of be a bit angry about. So you do need to be careful about your teammates getting annoyed. You know, maybe explain it to them if they do start getting annoyed, like, hey, I actually got more damage done than the Punisher would have because I was split pushing and it worked out okay. I'll come to the next one or whatever like that. Yeah, it depends. And just be careful with your split pushing. Like, don't YOLO split push. You could see that happened to me once. I just got caught out and we barely escaped just out of luck. But you do need to keep your eye on the minimap and make sure that while you are doing the split push that you're going to be safe. Ideal times is like if your 4 heroes are absorbing the whole attention of the enemy team's 5 heroes, you're golden, yeah. And if they swing 1 hero around to try to deal with you, you can just hop in your network and then pop out with your team and then push into the objective 5 versus 4. If they send 2 heroes to deal with you, your teammates should be able to take that objective as is. And if your teammates do pick Zagara themselves, what you want to do is to draft like a really strong 4-man comp aside from that Zagara that's going to be able to sustain and put pressure on and be survivable and scary while Zagara is split pushing, and just help her open up the map for her split pushing, similar to how you play with like an Abathur or Lost Viking, something like that. And you will have a pretty good time. Anyway, give it a like if you liked it, and if you enjoyed if you enjoyed the video, again, give Zagara a spin. I think she's still one of the strongest heroes in the game right now. Really powerful, really powerful. Does a lot of damage and also brings a lot of map pressure too, which is pretty sick combo, I have to say. And I'll see you all very soon for more Heroes of the Storm. So stay tuned for that. And yeah, have a good day. Bye bye.